And thanks for joining me again. I just wanted to share a little bit today about how my goals for this month have been going and also how my day did not go as planned today. A little bit of a funny story that happened at work. I had gotten up this morning and gotten my son off to school, came back home, did my morning routine, actually had time to do my yoga this morning, made time for that, made time to make a healthy lunch or pack a healthy lunch that I then took and put in the refrigerator at work, had my work shirt on with my name tag and my outfit all ready to go and get there and find out, well, there's two schedules at work. There's the one that has the station schedule of where we're supposed to be each day, and then our calendar schedule of what days we work and what days we're off. And I look and I see that I'm not on the workflow schedule, the station schedule. And I'm like, well, my friend that makes it, she made a mistake and I'll just be the extra, like the buffer person for today. And then I get to looking and I'm not on the calendar schedule for today either, which is funny because I work every Monday, and so I just kind of autopiloted it. I got ahead of myself, like more concerned of February's schedule than the month that I'm in, and ended up coming to work on a day that I was not scheduled. So that was, I don't know, it was kind of a neat experience, to be honest, because the old me would have gotten upset. I would have been frustrated at the time that I had wasted and having my plans all messed up for the week, because not only was I not supposed to be there today, I am supposed to be working Friday, which I was thinking, just based on the way that my schedule typically rotates, that I had this Friday off. Didn't really have any plans with anyone, so it was no big deal, but I had plans to stay at home and have some downtime and clean the house, and realizing that that's not going to get done. And, just the feeling like a dingbat for being there and not supposed to be, just like, it was kind of funny though, just being able to step back and be humble and to laugh at myself and to be like, you know what, you guys have a great Monday, I am out. So yeah, so basically I had the option of what do I do with my free time. This is kind of a gift of time I wasn't expecting, and I was a little bit frustrated because there was the, I guess, the pull to do what I felt like I ought to be doing, which was cleaning house. And then there was a friend that I used to work with had texted me, and I'd been listening to a podcast about love yesterday, and it was kind of like, well, is this a nudge? Is this a sign that I need to contact her, that I need to go? And I know she's got some things going on at her house that she needs some help with, some projects, and maybe I could be the one to offer to help her and in turn like spend more time with her. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to do. And so I had just been to see my companion yesterday, and the thing about our situation is that we live an hour away from each other, and so we try to see each other as much as we can, but typically it's like 2 to 3 trips a week because both of us are not really financially well off. I mean, we have what we need, but not a whole lot of extra, and so it's 80-mile round trip, and over the course of a week that adds up in gas and mileage and wear and tear and time, really. But it's time well spent. It's just, it is a very wearing drive. It's not like it's just straight highway. It's curvy, windy mountain roads. And I joke that whenever I was little, I used to worry about falling off the mountain, and now I worry about the mountain falling on me because back before my son was born, before I even got pregnant with him, probably about maybe 2009, 2010, there was a rock slide, and It didn't hurt anybody, fortunately, but it did send enough rocks to completely block the road for several months. I'm not sure exactly how long, but I know that the people who live up on the top of the mountain, or even, along the way to the mountain, they would have jobs an hour and a half away, and they were having to spend all that extra time and all that extra gas because there's not an alternate route down the mountain. You have to go all the way around, and that's like an extra hour or more to their trip. And so, I mean, I'm thankful for the, but anyway, so I had the option. I could call my companion and go and see him on my time off. But I had just gotten off the phone with him before I went into work, thinking that I was working a 9-hour shift. And I was like, well, let me check with my friend first. So I called her, and she did answer the phone, and we talked, and it was good to talk and just kind of catch up. And it turns out that she had plans for today. So I'm like, okay, that's not what I'm supposed to do today. And so we thought about maybe getting together later, but I was like, well, I'm not got plans, and I can't get a hold of my companion, so I'm going to go to the grocery store that is both on the way to my house and on the way to the road to go to his house. And I'm going to get some ice cream. And thinking in my head, if I get this ice cream, then I'm really going to need to go and take it home, because I'd got it, for family that were coming over tomorrow. And so anyway, I buy the ice cream. That's the only thing that I purchase. Get back out to the car, and planning on going to my house, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try one more time before I go home to call my companion. And he answers, and he's like, I figured, it's already after 9:30, and you give an hour up there and an hour back. I'm only going to have 3 hours. And so he was like, well, do you want me to drive down? That way you've got more time, and you're right there whenever my son gets off the bus, I'd be right there to pick him up. And I was like, well, your vehicle uses more gas than mine. It's not really economical for you to do that. And I was like, I really need to go home. I ought to clean house. I just bought ice cream. And he's like, well, if you do want to come up, you'd have 3 hours. I see it as I'd only have 3 hours. I'm driving 2 hours, and I'd only have 3 hours. And he sees it as, you'd have 3 hours that you didn't expect to have. Let's spend it together. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. And so yesterday, whenever my son and I had been up and visiting, the day didn't go a bit as we had planned. We had planned to go to church, to go into town, get some things to fix up the cabin, just some supplies and things, and none of that panned out. We ended up getting started working on the project for the yard, and just cleaning up, basically, which it needed it. Just supplies and things that had been left out in the rain, and just things that needed to be taken care of, and get rid of some of that clutter. And we were able to, I was getting a little bit stressed, because I was on a time schedule. I had to get back down the mountain in time to get my son ready for bed, and get ready to start my week, which I thought I was working today. And so anyway, I was raking the leaves, and I come across this red salamander, which I didn't even know what one was. I had to look it up because I'd never seen one before, but it was really neat. It was like orangish red, and it had all these little black speckles on its back, and it was hidden under the leaves. And so with me having spazzed out, like, this isn't what I had planned on doing, what I had planned on doing while we were up here, and time's getting away, and we're not getting done anything that we thought that we were gonna do and that we need to do, and we're doing this instead. And I'm wearing nice clothes because we planned to go to church. I hadn't changed, and my son's in his nice clothes, and he's getting all dirty. And, you know, making my companion feel bad for that, and in turn making him upset, and he goes in the house, and I call him back out like, hey, come look at this, guys, come look, check this out. And they're thinking that the fire got away and caught something important on fire. And which we were very careful. It had rained a lot and the ground was very wet, so no worries there. But they come out expecting something bad, and they see the salamander, and I believe it was God put that there to kind of redirect, like when my son was little, and sometimes even now, whenever he's getting fussy, you just kind of have to, here's a distraction, here's something else to take your mind off of what you're upset about, because you really, if you step back, it's not really a reason to be upset. It's just you're not getting your way, or you're just not feeling good right now. And that salamander changed the whole course of the day, as silly as that may sound. We were able to enjoy the fire, and we cleaned up a lot, and we were able to go in and clear out some things, like work on minimalizing what was in the cabin, and to all watch a movie together and just enjoy that experience. And at the end of the day, the thing that made me frustrated, that we were getting dirty and taking all this time to build this fire, whenever I asked my son what the best part of his day was, it was getting to spend that time together and to build the fire. And it just kind of makes me step back and appreciate things more. Like today didn't go a bit as planned. Yesterday didn't go a bit as planned, but we were able to get done the things today by me driving up and meeting my companion halfway, and then going to the stores that we were supposed to go to yesterday. And you know what? I had a random carton of ice cream that we ate with forks in the parking lot of Home Depot, and that made for a really awesome memory. And I find, at least in my life, and maybe you guys experience this too, some of the best memories are the ones that you don't anticipate in advance. They're so odd and so unexpected that they stand out, and it's like, yeah, that was great. And so I think that's a lot of what I've been learning. Maybe already have learned, just putting into practice, is to one, be humble, and to not get so upset at myself, and not be like, well, I failed at this, and so I'm giving up, I'm putting it away, I'm putting it on a shelf, I'm just not made for this, I'm not meant for this, as far as like the staying on track with the Simplify Challenge, being behind in that. I'm still working toward it, and even though I wanted to get done within the 30-day time frame, within the month, self-pacing is an option, and I am humble enough to step back and be like, you know what, maybe I am one of those people who does need to self-pace. I didn't want to admit that about myself. I thought, yeah, I might be a day behind watching the videos and then doing it the next day, but that's okay. I can stay this one day and get it done within the month. And, realizing that it's okay to step back and self-pace as long as I am continuing to move forward. Same thing with the leg behind the head. I still have several days left in this month. I think nearly a week. Yeah, about a week. My math's kind of fuzzy because it's getting late. But I'm going to keep working toward it, and if I do, that's awesome, that's great, that's amazing. I will have accomplished something that I have really been looking forward to doing. And if I don't, that's okay. I'll continue moving forward until it happens, and it'll happen when my body's ready for it to happen. Accepting that things are out of my control, that there are things that I can't control. I can't control every situation, or you know what the day brings, when things don't go my way, but I can control how I respond to them. And I'm happy to say, very thankful to say, that I feel like I'm responding a lot better. Yeah, so I hope that this helps. I hope that my rambling about my month and my day and my dingbat moment at work, that somehow is uplifting to you. And I just want you to know, if you are struggling, feeling down on yourself, like maybe there's something that you're going through that it's not going according to your timing, that that doesn't mean that you're failing. You are enough. You are wonderful and you're awesome, and it it might not happen the way that you want it to happen or when you want it to happen, but as long as you are continuing on your journey and not giving up on your goals, your hopes, or maybe you just re-examine and say, this that I was striving toward, maybe it's not what's best for me at the time. It doesn't mean that you fail. It doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It just means that maybe there's something else that you need to focus your attention on, and that's okay. Just instead of fighting it, if you can find it in your heart to embrace that, then there's possibility for the day and the journey to go so much better. All right, but it's getting late now, so I'm gonna sign off because I'm getting kind of drowsy and rambling more than usual. And I hope that you have a wonderful night. And if you like this video, please click like or feel free to subscribe. I'd be very honored if you subscribe to my channel. Good night.